Everyone, this is Gwydion, and I'm doing this video as an update on the ShadowDark conversion I've done into Fantasy Grounds. I've pretty much got the entire Quick Start GM guide and the player guide now uploaded and available on the Forge. So the images that you see in front of you for the Quick Start guide and their Quick Start guide, I'll drop a link in the YouTube video, but you just need to make sure these are activated. They're free. I mean, certainly you can donate. You don't have to. It's totally up to you. I just wanted to make these available for free. Make sure that you also download the Xcore rule set, because when you do launch the ShadowDark, when you create a ShadowDark campaign, you'll want to make sure that you're selecting the Xcore rule set. So make sure this is available loaded, and then also make sure that these two modules are loaded. So let me kind of dig into what I wanted to show today. And I will show combat. I'll leave this up for now. But I wanted to show the pregens that I've added. So the first thing you're going to do is go to your modules activation. And assuming, again, make sure you've loaded the extension if you want the theme. So when you get to the load screen, before you launch Fantasy Grounds, you're going to want to make sure that you add the extension as well and load it. So I'm going to type into my search bar here, Shadow. So you should see ShadowDark Player Guide, which has a green symbol so that the players can load this. And that has a lot of the player information. And then the GM guide, which has all the monsters and the adventure, the Lost Citadel of the Scarlet Minotaur. So when you first launch this and you click on the player guide, you'll notice now that there's a pre-generated character link up here. You click on that. You can add all of these. So I'll add all of them. I probably won't show them all. But if you click on each of these plus signs, you can see as I do that, it'll say added to the campaign. Let me just add them all in. Okay, now you can close this window and then go to your character window, and you should see all these. Now, the portraits are all individual to each, I guess, instance, if you will. So let's just get one of the fighters. I'm trying to remember who I think Elbin is one of the fighters. No, he's a priest. Jorbin? Yes, Jorbin's a fighter. So if you click on him and open Jorbin, and because I loaded a .ppk file, if you click on the portrait, you should scroll down and you should be able to find, you won't see all of these unless you've purchased these packs as well. But this SD Pregen, so if you click on that link in SD Pregen, you should see all of the portraits because I've created a portrait for each. So just find the one you want. You don't have to use the one that says Jorbin, but shoot, I think it should be in here. Let's do this again. There he is. There's Jorbin. So if you click on Jorbin, it'll give you the portrait and it'll give you the token. So I'll just go ahead and drag him into the combat tracker for now, so you can see him, and you can see that the first box is health 10. The second box will be if he gets wounded. The third is his AC, so his AC is 15. And then you do see initiative here as well. 2 is this AC bonus, so it's not necessary to be in here, I guess, but it shows in there. And if you do need to roll initiative, you can click up here, double click, or you can double click on the character sheet, and it will roll initiative. So you can see that's a 6. His dexterity is a 0 modifier. So that updates this to 6. So let's just scroll through the character. I'm going to start at the back where I have all the notes. So I've tried to include all of the basic information from Jorbin's character sheet. And I actually have all the images loaded. So you kind of have the cool little pic from him. Language is common in Dwarvish, so I've encoded those in here just as information. Title, alignment, soldier, background, deity, etc. And again, I have the reference manual all coded out. So if you want to find out any more information, like go into characters, you want to find more information on titles, alignment. So if you want to say, hey, what does lawful mean? There's a little blurb in here. Deities. So if you want to know what Madeira is, you'll see that in here. So you can get all that information in the reference manual. Let's see. Let's go back to inventory. So again, all of the inventory that's listed And this should have updated to show you the correct character weight. But I have backpack, chainmail, flint and steel. And chainmail, I'm showing he has 1 set, but the weight is 2. And if you click on any of these, there's a little information. This gives you 13 plus your dex mod. Something that you'll have to remember is disadvantage on stealth swim. I probably could have added that as an effect, but maybe I'll do that in the future. So let's go back to the main tab. All right, so you've got the health, and if you do your own pregens, make sure you click on this cog and type in the health. Otherwise, it will reset if you reset the character sheet. AC is equal to whatever you put in this AC bonus. So in this case, I included a 2. I've got 13 plus the 2 here and his dexterity mod, so it's 15. The reason for the 2 is I'm equipping the shield. The shield has a +2 AC modifier, so I'm just, if you click on control and hold and scroll up or down, this will change the AC bonus. And then if you want, you can just click on this to update it. So I need to put this back down to 2 and then just click on that cog. Now it's back to 15. And again, that'll be important for when you are targeted in combat. Speed, I probably should include this. Honestly, I did not. Maybe I'll update this next round. I don't remember what. General, I think it tells you somewhere, and it's just escaping me at the moment what the speed is. I think it's near, or I don't remember offhand. All right, you got all the attributes and the modifiers here, all your checks. He's a dwarf, so I did include things like grit as an informational here. So you'll see I noted that he selected strength. All of the weapons are already updated. So if you click on Great Sword Attack, and I'll show this when we do a quick combat, you can see the Great Axe Attack is 120, D120, which he got 3, +3 for the strength mod, and then +1 for weapon mastery. So I just added that into the attack. So all of that is coded. You don't have to do anything. I do have luck here. So if you do use luck, you can double click on it. It'll go down to 0. And then if your GM gives you luck again, you can control left click and increase that and show you have luck. So that's it for Jorbin's. Is really straightforward. I'll show combat maybe with him. That's Jorbin. So let's go find another character. Let's do one of the thieves. Let's do Martin. I think Martin is a thief. Dagger, backstab. Yeah, let's do Martin. All right, so I'm selecting Martin. So again, let's find his character sheet in here. Or not his character sheet, his portrait. All right, Martin. There's Martin. So again, I can throw him up there if I want. They look a little similar, so you might want to do something to distinguish them. But it is what it is. So, okay, so for Martin, he's got things like thievery that you'll just have to remember, advantage on checks. At least you have a little note here. Backstab is coded. So because he has both backstab and he's got, what is it called? Ambitious. Ambitious gives you +1 dice of backstab. That's included in this note here for backstab. So I've coded this as a 2. So you get to roll 2 extra damage dice when you are hit, or when the monster doesn't see you when you're attacking. So in this case, again, I've got dagger damage down here. The first one, normal, is just going to roll a d4. The second one is going to include backstab damage, so an additional 2 d4 dice. So he's rolling 3 d4 as damage. All right, and then I can show that to you. So that one's pretty straightforward. Again, AC is 15. Notes, not much else on here. You've got common and Athenian language, and you've got, again, the image of the thief. So let's look at a priest quickly, and then maybe a magic user. So a priest, Elbin Grizzlegut is one of the priests. So let's look at Elbin. So again, I'll find the portrait. Elbin, here we go. There's Elbin, and I'll drag Elbin on there. And this one is a little more to it. So the one thing I went back and recoded in all the spells is this +1 spell casting, which is part of your talents. I did change this so that every spell is coded that if this is showing up here, and if for some reason as you level up you get say +2, you can always scroll, control left click this scroll wheel. But what it does is, in this case, you can see here's Elbin. All right, there's Elbin there. You've got Acolyte, Lawful, Jeweler, Madeira, +2 hit points. This is already included. And then advantage on hit points rolls, you'll have to remember that. But here's the +1 on spell casting checks, and here are the 3 spells he knows. And he knows 3 languages, which are all here. All of his equipment, free to carry, backpack, and holy symbol. He has 10 gold pieces left if he wants to buy something more. Let's see. So spell casting, cure wounds. So what I've done for every spell, and you might need to lock these, I should have done that. But for all of these spells, I have roll over, and it's going to look, I've already coded this, but it's taking the spell level basically and adding that to a 10. So your target to successfully cast this is 11, 10 plus 1, the spell level. But you can, now it's going to take your intelligence. Plus, if you do have anything in spell casting here, it'll add that as well. So in this case, if I go to roll cure wounds, normally the 7, but you can see it's a 7 plus 1 for my intelligence and plus, or no, it might be, should that be wisdom? I need to look at that. I might have messed that up and might need to update that because I assume that it should be wisdom now that I say that. And I think I've tied that to intelligence. Shoot. All right. So we'll have to remember that. And then same for Turn Undead and Shield of Faith. Now, one thing I also added is I added effects. So these should have populated when you load the module. All they are is notes. But like if you have Shield of Faith, you can, so let's just say Elbin is going to target himself. I'm going to go into the combat tracker, control left click himself. Then I'm going to click on the Shield of Faith right there. So now it's saying Shield of Faith +2 AC. So you can manually change it here if you want. And then it changes it in the combat tracker. And you click on this, it'll update in the combat tracker as well. And then it'll tick off the 5 rounds. So at least it reminds you that you only have it for 5 rounds. So as you move forward around, this should go down to 4. And so there, then obviously every round it'll tick off until it's off. So I tried to do that. You can see all these mage armor and turned, you flee for 5 turns if you're undead. So something to. All right. Let's go to a wizard. The Zaldini the Red. Goblin. I think I will have to change that wisdom. So let's see. Let's go to Zaldini. Regen. Zaldini. Put him in here. All right. So in this case, I did, again, I've got the intelligence plus spellcasting. There is anything in spellcasting. In this case, there is a +1. So I did for Magic Missile, small thing, but because you get advantage on your checks to cast this spell, I just included the advantage only instead of all of them so you don't forget. So you just double click it and it's going to say, yes, I succeeded on my spell casting, and then I can just fire off the damage. All right, so pretty straightforward. Again, apologize. The only thing I probably need to update is the priests. I forgot. So let's quickly jump into a combat. I pulled in an image that I have of a crypt. I created an encounter. So let's go to the encounter. Giant spider and a skeleton. So I'm going to load this. And I put my own tokens. When you get this module, it's just going to have letter tokens because you don't, unless you own these, you can add them yourself. So there you go. And then I would have to drag in let's just drag in Elbin, and we'll just keep Elbin. Oh, actually, you know what? I did want to do a thief. Let me do, Martin is a thief, right? Let's do Martin, because I wanted to show, the one thing I wanted to show, so if you do Martin, is it Martin? No, it's not Martin. One of them, let me go to the other thief, apologies, I think it's Relina. Yeah. So Relina, and let's do Relina Justice and pull in image. All right, so Relina, if you open her character sheet up and notes, one of her, the right person. Oh, I didn't pull her. All right, let's pull her in. There. All right, so Relina, if you look at her character sheet under the notes section, she has first level talent, advantage on initiative rolls, and she's a halfling, so she gets to turn invisible for 3 rounds. So I do have that coded here. So again, double click on this to use it. And I do have the effect for invisibility. I just call it stealthy invisible. It'll track it for 3 rounds. But if you double click and roll initiative for Relina, you can see that it will roll with advantage. 2 and a 3, horrible, but it does roll with advantage. I wanted to show that off. All right, let's just use, for now, I'm just going to use Elbin. So let's just use Elbin in here. And we'll just say that he came in here. I'm going to clear the combat or the chat. So we'll say Elbin goes first. So he's going to, actually, let's see, what does he want to do? Yeah, he'll move up and he's going to target. So control left click, and you can see it says target skeleton. And then he's going to roll his mace to attack. So it's a 16, or actually, sorry, it's a 5, 3 plus 2, and it tells you it fails. The skeleton's armor class is 12, so it failed. So that's too bad. But let's just say that he stayed where he was. And let's say instead he tried to turn undead. So again, you can look at this and says you may rebuke creatures. You have to be within near range. So let's double click on this. And 18. So that's a success. So he cast a spell. He turned the undead. The way this works is if a creature fails by more than 10, let's see. Oh, sorry. So they make a charisma check opposed by our spellcasting check. So spellcasting check is 20. So let's just click on the skeleton, and he's going to make a charisma check. So all the checks are here. So you just double click on this. So he had an 11 or a 10. So, oh yeah. So let's see. What does that say again? Turn undead. It fails by 10 plus points. So I think that's 10 or more. So I would argue that if it's equal or less than your level, then it's destroyed. And a skeleton is, go back over here, level 2. So you wouldn't destroy him, but he does flee for 5 rounds. So what you can do there is you can pull up the flee effect that I created. So it says turned flee. You can drag and drop it on the skeleton here or even here. And it'll say skeleton turned, flees 5 rounds. So it's just a note, but at least it's kind of a cool thing that shows. So then we would go down and say, hey, the giant spider isn't fleeing. So the giant spider, let's see, it might run up target. So again, I controlled left clicked. And then in here, you want to open up the attacks section here. So you can see all of his attacks. And if you open the spider and go into the notes section, it kind of tells you everything. So AC, hit points, attack 1 bite plus 3. And then it's a 1d4 plus poison. And poison means that you have to make a DC con save at a 12 or more to be paralyzed 1d4 hours. So that's kind of scary. Let's see. So the giant spider can double click to attack. That's a 6, so it fails because it's doing a 6 plus 3 is a 9 against my AC of 16. So let's just say if it did hit, then I would be doing damage, 1d4, and you could say it automatically populates up here. It shows 3 damage. And then Elbin would have to go in and make a constitution check, normal. So he would roll. He rolled a 15. And I know the DC is 12, so I would tell you that's 12, and so that's a success. So at least you didn't go down. So that's it. Again, I think it's coded pretty well. I just need to go back in and change. I'll have to, at least in the pre-gens, change and maybe even all the pre-spells, change those to be based off of wisdom. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you find it useful. Drop me a note here in the forums. on the Arcane Libraries Discord channel, wherever. But I'd love to hear what you guys think. So thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy playing ShadowDark. Till then, I hope to see many of you around the Fantasy Grounds forums. Thanks.